Welcome to Dr. Roger and Friends, the bright side of longevity, hosted by 3 Ps in a podcast, Doc Roger, Teresa, and Danielle. Thanks for joining us for Coffee and Conversation. Rosemary Ramsey is a 15-year veteran of senior living, serving in both marketing and operations, and most recently as Vice President of Strategic Projects. She is also a long-term volunteer with at-risk and foster youth, serving agencies such as Monroe Harding, the Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and the Children's Home of Tampa. She holds an MBA from Vanderbilt University, and she's the founder of Victory Lap, which provides youth who are aging out of foster care the opportunity to live in senior housing communities.
Well, welcome everybody to Bright Side of Longevity. Another exciting program here with my colleagues, Danielle and Teresa. Bringing the generations together. Haven't we been preaching that like forever? Thinking, first of all, knowing the research is so powerful on what can happen when the generations do come together. It is a win-win for both the young and the old, and the sense of purpose that can come with that. And that's just like a gold mine relative to aging in a better way and healthy longevity. Well, today we have a guest who's going to talk about a very creative approach. Rosemary, thank you for being with us today. She was probably one of the few people in the country who could really do what she did because of your interest and your skills and your experience. And so we salute your creativity. We want to hear more about it. Let's talk about the Victory Lap.
All right. Rosemary, we're so glad to have you. I only recently learned about the Victory Lap, and it was love at first sight for me. Oh my goodness, what goodness. Tell us a little bit of history and how it came about.
Well, I worked in senior living for 15 years, 13 and a half of that was at Brookdale's corporate office. And on the weekends, I volunteered with kids who have aged out of foster care here in Nashville. There's a agency called Monroe Harding, and they provide housing and educational supports, financial literacy training, all of those things, trying to be the family that these kids don't have. So I got to know some of the kids and got more familiar with their struggles. And it all kind of came down to a trifecta for me. These kids need a safe and stable place to live. Most of them end up couch surfing, which is not the best way to be able to, pursue your education or your vocation. When you don't know where you're sleeping tonight, it's completely unrealistic. So they need a safe and stable place to live. They need a job that they don't have to have a car to get to. Very few of them ever learn to drive. They don't have the finances for a car and certainly not for the insurance. So, and then the third is connections to caring adults. A lot of these kids, when they age out, they'll go right back home to the very dysfunctional environment that they were removed from. So that's actually a step backward, even though it's, maybe a place to live. So they really don't have very good options at all. And the outcomes show it. So meanwhile, I'm getting to know these kids and working at Brookdale that, at that time we had like 110,000 apartments and at least 10,000 of them were vacant. And we were always talking about how we have a labor shortage, how to attract better talent. And the older people often say, they missed contact with younger folks that they had in their neighborhoods and everything before they moved in. So it kind of hit me over the head one day that I needed to make this work. And here we are.
Such awesome stuff. So how does the Victory Lap work?
So basically kids who age out of foster care, in 28 states, they have extended foster care. And so basically the states pay child welfare agencies to provide services to the kids, who age out. It's entirely voluntary. The kid can opt out whenever he or she wants to, and they have to meet certain criteria in terms of, some places they have to be in school, some places they have to be working at least part-time. There's various requirements from state to state. but the agency assigns them a social worker who is there to sort of counsel them through being sort of a crash course in being a grown-up and connect them with resources. And so that social worker is kind of the key contact so the agency's not just being like, here's a kid, he's 18, he doesn't have a better place to go, so here he is. I mean, that person is on site at least once a week, meeting face to face, has a relationship with the leadership at the retirement community. So it's really a strong partnership. And the way we've done it in Tennessee, which is actually pretty well funded in terms of extended foster care, is the state stipend. It's like $1,500. $900 goes to the retirement community. $600 stays with the agency to do all that case management. And so the retirement community can make a little bit of money off an otherwise vacant unit. You have on-site workforce. So if somebody misses the bus or boyfriend doesn't come home with the car or whatever, you have a server or a housekeeper or somebody that can jump right in there. And so basically, we can provide services to these kids in a retirement community much, much cheaper than we can in like a group home, which might house, 5 people. So you've got to pay the rent on the house, the utilities, the cable, the Wi-Fi, the building maintenance, all of that stuff. We provided at such scale in a retirement community that really the incremental cost of adding a young person to an otherwise vacant unit is like less than $200 a month. So you can make a little bit of money, but just judging from what the communities have told me, they started with, okay, yeah, maybe we can make a little bit of money, and this is a cool program. But now, I mean, they don't do it for the money. So anyway, but it's nice that we can provide that incentive, at least in Tennessee.
Fantastic. The three of us have been working with senior living communities for quite a while, and we know how they work. We had one community that gave an apartment to a master's level music student, so she could live there. And it was a tremendous success, but it was not easy coming. And we know that that didn't come easy. And so there had to be a bunch of obstacles that you had to overcome to make this work or to get it accepted. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from when the idea hit me to when the first person moved in was 2.5 years. So it took a while. And basically I had to convince the folks at the Department of Children and Families that this was a worthwhile placement for somebody who was in extended foster care, and that we could work with the agencies and that we could provide services to these kids at a much lesser cost by leveraging that scale at the retirement community. And so one thing I realized is most people don't know what a retirement community is. They picture their great grandma's nursing home and they're like, why would a kid want to live there? But when they actually came and saw the site in Chattanooga, which was our alpha site, it's a Veritas senior living community. So thank you, Veritas. It clicked for them. They got to talk to a few of the residents and the staff and see the apartments and, see the breadth of jobs that are available, mostly entry level, under one roof. I mean, you can pursue careers in hospitality, real estate, sales, administration. The folks at DCS, could really feel it, by the time that I actually got them into the community. And so then I had to find a child welfare agency that did extended foster care and wanted to do it in the same area as senior living that wanted to do it. So, we started in Chattanooga, and now we have one with Vitality here in Nashville, and a lot of interest. I had a opportunity to speak at the Senior Living 100 conference down in Amelia Island. And unfortunately, that was at the beginning of March. And so we had tons of interest coming out of that. And then COVID hit. And so we're kind of in a holding pattern.
You're so matter of fact, Rosemary, as you explain this story, and it's just mind blowing to me. It's really so profound and exciting what you've done, and it hasn't been easy. But my goodness, it seems like a win-win on just so many levels, and it makes so much sense. Did you ever have a why didn't someone think of this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and people are like, well, this is such a great idea. Why isn't anyone doing it? And it's like very few people have one foot in child welfare and one foot in senior housing.
Well, there
So
you go.
I kind of feel like the universe gave me this opportunity, and I'm committed to making it work. So.
Totally. Yeah, your job.
Yeah, that's you're almost unique in that. I mean, there's probably someone else there with 330 million people in this country, but not many.
Right, right. And there's a few similar models, like in Holland, they've been doing it for like 10 years with college. It's just college students living in a nursing home, and they get free room and board in exchange for volunteer hours. There's one. In Washington, D.C., it's an affordable housing project, and it's intended for young women who are mothers who age out of foster care, and there's a lot of them. And they live alongside seniors who get a reduced rental rate in exchange for volunteering, helping take care of the babies while mom finishes her education and gets a job and that sort of thing.
Well, Holland was the Netherlands was also a leader in senior living in this country for a number of reasons. So maybe we ought to go over there, gang, and go visit some of my friends at Amsterdam.
Field trip.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to visit.
Well, a crash course in being an adult. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think my colleague said I might need that.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know, could you share a warm, fuzzy success story with us?
Yeah, I think about one of our boys who's lived at Maybelle Carter Center, which is the community we have here in Nashville that participates. And he has low IQ and has autism, but he's like a big old teddy bear. And so there was nothing delicate about him. He was loud, he was boisterous, but he would, run around the dining room, maybe not run, but, and he would mix it up with all the residents. And some of the residents told me, he knows everybody. He knows everybody's name. He knows like trivia about them. And he talks to the people that kind of, self-isolate, the people in early stages of dementia tend to withdraw. And, he knows everybody. He talks to everybody, even the people that, don't get much social interaction. And so he had a number of fans for sure. But he had some residents who thought that he was disruptive, or that he didn't have good manners and things like that. And this one lady who had been pretty hard on him told me, I realized that he lacks the things that a mother teaches her son. And I was not happy with him, but at the same time I realized that I could be that for him. Mm-hmm. And so it just goes to show that these kids become a rallying point. The community kind of unites around them. So anyway, that's only one of the warm fuzzies.
I love it. And just the reaching out, like changing her mindset from criticizing to be like, wait, I can be part of the solution and make this whole thing better.
Exactly. Yeah. And I call it the Victory Lap for that reason. It's not because it's the kids' last few years of foster care. It's because these people are in the sunset of their lives, and this is their chance to, not just get old. It's to take a victory lap, really make an impact on the next generation.
Surely, we know what purpose can do for anyone's life, but particularly as we age, when most of the purpose we had as we were younger goes away. So here would be another opportunity. And again, as I said before, we know what happens when generations get together. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, it is a win-win. Well, this is so dear to us. We love this, the three of us. I hope that was obvious. And that comes from many years of experience and realizing that this goes to the core of who we are as humans, and particularly who we are as we humans get a little older. Mm-hmm. And so we applaud this. You are a caring and a very creative person, and I think there's going to be lots of older adults and young adults who are going to benefit from the effort you put into this. So we'd like to know, we'd like to help in some way. So how can someone find out about how to sign up for the Victory Lap, at least find out more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to thevictorylab.org. Don't forget and just go to join us. And there's a little contact form there. There's also a couple of information sheets you can download. There's kind of one pagers on how it works. But yeah, they can do that, and I will reach back out.
Well, thanks for all you do, Rosemary. Thank you for being with us today. And if we have anything to say about it, you're going to be a very busy lady.
Well, I appreciate that. And thank you for having me on today.